Good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago. I'm Rishi Harinan and C News is live at noon.
And I'm Nasira Mohammed with sport.
President of the Public Service Association, Watson Duke, says it's too little too late for the Minister of Works and Transport to try to fix what's happened already. This after a bus carrying several passengers ran off a precipice in Lansfomé, Tobago, killing one and injuring several others. Mr. Duke spoke with media reporters on Wednesday morning.
In the month of April 27th, the Joint Select Committee that was here in Tobago discovered that all the fleet of buses in Tobago were unreliable, they were inadequate, and they were in dire need of fixing. The minister got that report. And so coming now, after a bus was on fire on the hill of Charlottesville, almost killed the people, after one went over a precipice, it's too little, too late.
The PNM government should be ashamed.
The responsibility upon maxi taxi drivers is totally unreasonable. And the PDP cries shame, shame on the PNM governance in Tobago, one that encroaches on our right to govern ourselves. The Tobago House of Assembly has not given out any maxi taxi rights for the longest while. Persons now are forced to find themselves in little bread white vans up and down the place, which are not operating under the law, being threatened by the police officers, the licensed officers. They are forced to operate in that.
Yesterday, Works and Transport Minister Fitzgerald Hines said government was in the process of acquiring about 20 buses for Tobago. Now, the Ministry of Works and Transport says, contrary to reports emanating from the media regarding Tuesday's visit to Tobago by the Minister Fitzgerald Hines, a meeting with drivers attached to the Public Transport Service Corporation was not scheduled. However, a statement from the ministry stated Mr. Hines, along with the board and management of PTSC, will be happy to meet with the union and drivers on another occasion, as a greater amount of time would be required to properly treat with the issues. The release said, based on the shared itinerary between the ministry and the Division of Infrastructure of the THA, the minister's visit was solely to meet with and commiserate with relatives of those affected by Monday's tragic accident in Lansfomé. It said Minister Hines also took the opportunity to visit those injured and currently hospitalized at the Scarborough General Hospital. Now, the Member of Parliament for Port of Spain North, St. Anne's West, Stuart Young, has called on members of the lower house to desist from personal attacks against each other. He was referring to an incident in Parliament on Tuesday in which MP for Urupuch East, Dr. Rudal Munilal, told the Parliament that he possessed pictures which he believed the AG would recognize. The pictures showed a young man and a young woman holding guns with their faces hidden.
And I'd like to call upon all right-thinking persons who have offered themselves for service and who have been elected to this House to distance themselves from that very unbecoming, disgusting behavior of Urupuch East yesterday.
Mr. Young said that the pattern of attacking persons in Parliament seems to have extended from the 10th session where the Prime Minister and his family were attacked. He called on all members to refrain from such behavior, saying it was unparliamentary. West Member of Parliament Ganga Singh has lashed out at the government for repeating they inherited a huge debt when it took office in September 2015. As he made his contribution on the budget debate earlier today, he made his point saying when the People's Partnership got into office in 2010, it inherited some $72 billion in debt.
CLICO, 25 billion. Ministry of Housing, 8 billion. WASA, 4 billion. And I know the member for Dabadi O'Meara likes to talk about 4 billion WASA debt. That debt is a cumulative debt for over 20 years. Outstanding VAT, 2 billion. Owed contractors, 2 billion. Loan for the waterfront, 2.7 billion. Outstanding fuel subsidy, 6 billion. Loan for the Taruba Stadium, 500 million. Loan for Rapid Rail, 500 million. Petrotrin, 12.5 billion. Outstanding wage negotiations, 9 billion.
Now, Trinidad and Tobago earned $354 million from Carnival 2016. This was announced by the Minister of Tourism during her contribution to the budget debate in the House of Representatives last evening. She said 9% of all tourist arrivals to this country come for Carnival, with each tourist staying on for an average 13 to 14 days and spending $154 more than the average tourist.
$354 million, and each tourist would have spent about $9,597.
You're watching the C News Live report at noon. Remember, you can keep up to date with all the latest news on our website at ctvtt.com, or you can check out our Facebook and Twitter pages at C News Live. Police are trying to identify the body of a man whose body was discovered in Faizabad last evening. According to reports, the bullet-riddled body was discovered around 3 p.m. near one of Petrotrin's oil wells near Forest Reserve Road. The body is said to be that of an East Indian male in his 60s. A shotgun was found next to the body. Now for a look at the weather forecast.
Yet another tropical wave is passing through the island chain this wet season, set to bring cloudiness, showers and the possibility of a heavier shower in the daytime heating. For those of you who are heading out, it will feel quite humid, 31 degrees Celsius in Tobago, possibility 33 degrees Celsius in Trinidad, and there will be some breeze around, especially in those showers. For mariners heading out, easterly winds of 15 knots may get up to 20 knots at times, wind waves of 1.5 to 2 meters, and east-northeasterly swells of 8 seconds. Tide is high at 1 p.m., then low at 7 p.m. Meanwhile, Nicole is taking aim at Bermuda, with tropical storm conditions expected this afternoon, becoming more hurricane-like this evening, with heavy rain, thunderstorms and dangerous surf and rip currents expected to affect Bermuda overnight. That's your latest weather, and I'm meteorologist Ian Wallace.
The 2016 State a Getaway campaign launched by the Ministry of Tourism in July 2016 was a success. This from Minister of Tourism Shamfu Kojo. The staycation campaign was aimed at getting citizens to vacation at home. It ran from August 1st to 31st.
We would have targeted for 5,200 participants, and we got 5,900 people participating. We partnered with many community organizations, the Natural Trust, and even the PTSC to get locals around to enjoy all that Trinidad and Tobago has to offer.
Meanwhile, the minister also spoke about domestic tourism. She said it keeps the industry alive and well when international arrivals are low. For 2015, domestic tourism had contributed $862 million.
Our 2015 survey tells us that 150,387 households in Trinidad and Tobago took about 2 trips in the year of 2015, and that generated over $862 million. So it goes a long way in keeping our local tourism industry alive and well.
$35,000 fine for the 5 Venezuelan nationals detained on a beach on October 2nd with 28 sheep. The men appeared before a Superior Magistrate Court on Tuesday. The captain of the ship got 2 charges, 1 that he failed to inform officials of his port of entry, and 2 that he imported restricted goods into the country. The other 4 were charged with entering the country at an illegal port of entry. Clinical neuropsychologist Dr. Yvette Taylor-Canarick says the roles and functions of a man and woman should be clearly identifiable, as she believes there is the need for a traditional male role in society. She was responding to a question about equality and women in leadership during CTV's morning show.
Because we are wired for that. That's the way your brain is made up, and you function better that way. If I got into a car and I had a male with me, I'd give him the keys, you drive, because I know his amygdala is better able to manage me through the traffic and take me from point A to B.
She said the current system has failed as it focuses too heavily on the negative side of the man.
Domestic violence is an aberrant behavior. It is a maladjustment, maladaptation of the brain. We are wired for survival, so our first instinct is to procreate, have children, and to perpetuate ourselves. If the worst criminal is walking down the streets and he sees somebody about to be hurt, he's going to react, because we are wired to protect life. So anytime somebody turns on themselves or they turn on others, it's telling me that something in the survival pathway of the brain is not functioning.
For some other news now, the Water and Sewage Authority is advising road users and members of the general public of traffic restrictions along the priority bus route St. Joseph on Saturday, 15th October 2016 between the hours of 8 p.m. and 4 a.m. It says this has become necessary in order to carry out pipe laying works associated with the installation of a 400mm diameter pipeline along Abercrombie Street from Fremont Street to the Valsine Waterworks. Traffic along the PBR going in a westerly direction will be diverted to the Eastern Main Road from Kirab Junction. Traffic going in an easterly direction will be diverted to the EMR from Farm Road, St. Joseph. Motorists are asked to pay close attention to the traffic signs, proceed with caution in the vicinity of the job site, and observe the instructions of police officers on duty. And the Water and Sewerage Authority is also advising of traffic restrictions in Carenage that is set to take place on Saturday between the hours of 8 p.m. and 3 a.m. Road users and members of the public are being advised that there will be restrictions at various points along the Western Main Road. The authority said this has become necessary for the repairs of several leaks prior to road paving works that is to be conducted by the Ministry of Works and Transport. And well, we now take a look at what's happening in sport. Nasira, Trinidad and Tobago Soca Warriors lost last evening.
Yes, we did. We lost 2-0 to Martinique.